Hey guys, welcome to Trucking and Talking episode 3. My name is Matt. Well, today I'm gonna do the rest of this job I was doing before, where this job started over, all the way over here somewhere, in Riga, just over there in Eastern Europe, and finishes here in Ar Östersund, Sweden. And this is obviously part of Promods now, but yeah, that doesn't come with the standard Scandinavia, unfortunately. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that, and I've got a range of topics here to talk about today. So yeah, let's get driving and I'll get to talking about these topics. It's a Scania 143M if you're wondering. It's a mod. So so the first topic here, it's just a short one. The Samsung Galaxy S9 hands-on. Samsung fixes the biggest flaw of the Galaxy S8. It says in my notes here that Samsung announced the S9 to the world this week, and recently we were able to get our little hands on the Samsung latest. The thing I was most interested in was trying out the new fingerprint reader replacement, fingerprint scanner, whatever you want to call it. On the S9, the fingerprint reader sits below the camera and is a lot closer to where your finger would normally rest. After trying it in person, I'm happy to report that the fingerprint location is totally fixed. The other big Samsung Galaxy S9 upgrade is the new camera setup. Now has dual aperture camera, meaning that the teeny tiny aperture blades inside the camera lens can now move, resulting in either a f/1.5 or f/2.4 aperture. And they also did talk about, I looked in the article, they talked about these new weird Samsung emotes you can make, which just look really creepy and weird. That's about it. So obviously with Samsung releasing a new phone, it's like, how much better is it going to be than the SA, and should you upgrade? And I think the honest answer at the moment is probably not, because more likely if you have a Galaxy S8 Plus whatever, the S9 is probably going to do everything the S8 could already do, so there's probably no real reason to upgrade. I mean, your choice, but I mean, it doesn't feel like the SA has been out that long, but probably been out longer than I thought. But I mean, it's good they fixed this, but you know, it does not appear that there's any major upgrades apart from that, and so it's rather similar, kind of a more refreshed. I mean, it's not totally rebranded, but it's kind of a refresh. So it's not really a new phone. But maybe it should have been called the S8 V2, something like that, or revision 2. I mean, the article did talk about as well, and even the iPhone X is not doing as well as it should. They've had to cut production in half because they're not selling anywhere near the amount they thought they would. I guess no surprise that you'd spend £1,000 or whatever on a phone and probably doesn't really do anything that any other phone couldn't, but your choice at the end of the day. I mean, I don't think it's a bad phone, but I mean, I'll say this, I personally don't really like Apple's kind of, not necessarily products, but kind of company. The idea that you should be locked down on what you can do. And also, I don't understand the Apple operating system. You know, I mean, the only reason I understand the Windows operating system is it's all I've ever used, so I've kind of, I guess, got used to it. But the Apple one, I cannot get used to. Just trying to use it, because apart from being able to launch Safari and go on the internet, I can't do anything else. I don't know how to get the control panel, I don't know how to get to, or whatever they call it, I don't know how to get to the file system, to view files or open particular stuff, you know, and uninstall stuff. I don't know. I don't know how you get to certain things. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Really what I need is someone to teach me, but I don't think there's anyone out there that would be patient enough. Well, maybe they would want to teach me, you know? Because even if I knew, it's not like I'd really use it, but yeah, as I say, I just don't really understand. So this next topic as well, kind of related to Apple. So Vulkan is coming to Mac OS and iOS, but no thanks to Apple. If you don't know what Vulkan is, basically it's a cross-platform GPU API from the Coronas Group, the industry body that also helps develop OpenGL, which I didn't know, which is also available on Windows, Linux, Android, Switch, the Nintendo Switch and cloud systems. But it has one sizable gap. None of Apple's platforms support it. No surprise there with Apple locking you out. Basically, it appears what Apple does is they say, you know, we can guarantee you're never going to fall down again. You know, so get in this wheelchair and never get out. You know, so completely restricting you. Mac OS has old and slow OpenGL drivers, and the iOS supports OpenGL ES, the OpenGL subset designed for embedded systems. Apple has thus far shown no interest in offering modern Vulkan API and instead has pushed down its own proprietary API metal. Today the gap is being substantially filled with the open source royal-free release of Vulkan VK, a runtime macOS and iOS that offers an almost complete subset of value, is an early adopter of modern VK. The company has been testing modern VK on the macOS version of Dota 2. Indications are extremely promising. The Vulkan on metal version of the game has frame rates as much as 50% higher than the version using Apple's OpenGL stock. Apple's OpenGL drivers have long been criticized both their poor performance and for Apple's refusal to support the latest versions specifications of Vulkan API implemented using Metal. The release is in response to demands from developers, no surprise there. They want a cross-platform API to maximize their reach, but also need to be able to reach Apple's platforms. However, developers also told Kronos that they didn't want the fourth API to learn. Rather, they hoped a company could repurpose some existing API to give them this reach. Modern VK has, and I should say as well, if you look at the charts of this article, and by the way, all the articles I talk about will be listed in the video notes below, so if you want to look at these articles in more detail, you can do. They have a graph for the benchmarks with or without Vulkan, and they're very interesting, to be honest. They really are. Definitely quite eye-opening. This is also Molten VK has been designed. It's very thin layered, has been deliberately designed to not perform any significant remapping or conversion of data and functional calls, ensuring that its performance is predictable and consistent and its overheads are low. A handful of Vulkan features aren't available, but the overall portable subset is the portable subset. The portable subset will also be able to target another platform DirectX 12, which has not adopted as many titles as it probably should. Expect within a few months a similar transition layer is being developed. It will enable Vulkan applications to use DirectX 12 backend, while Windows, unlike macOS, does have the Vulkan from GPU companies. Applications sold through the Microsoft Store that are only permitted to use DX. So this is probably a good thing because it probably means that if you use a Mac to game in the unlikely sense that you would, because a Mac where it really excels is apparently web development. So I've been told. For gaming, you know, this is probably a good thing, but I don't know this would actually really help anyone because I don't actually know personally anyone that uses a Mac to game. I mean, I've seen it before, but most typically then they've just put Windows on it, so, you know, which is probably not a very smart move because it wasn't designed to run Windows. But besides that, I mean, I guess this is a good thing, but it's a very long time coming. So whether this actually will be of any use to anyone is another matter altogether, and well, you know, I think probably is a good thing, but, you know, it's no surprise that Apple refused to use this for a long time, and now they say, sure, we'll use it, but, you know, I guess that's Apple for you. That's that topic. So, next topic is about Amazon. Amazon splurges on Ring, hopes smart doorbells bolster in-home deliveries. Basically, I think this is about that idea that the delivery guy could come into your home without you letting him into your home to deliver a parcel if you weren't in. So Amazon continues to bring smart home startups underneath its wing with its newest acquisition. According to Renutis report, the online retailer agreed to buy Ring, maker of concerned video doorbells and smart home security cameras for reportedly more than $1 billion. The California-based startup is a logical acquisition for Amazon, given its recent dive into smart home security sphere. That the company has launched the Amazon Key last fall, service that allows users security camera smart door to lock to allow couriers to access customers' homes to deliver packages if they're not in, presumably. The idea of that being hacked is very scary indeed. Amazon Key is meant to be a more convenient way, secure way for customers to receive Amazon orders as package theft rises, but the Amazon has been met with raised eyebrows and many questions of the security of Amazon's system itself. Ring could, as I, highlighted that, could help Amazon bolster customers' confidence in Amazon Key. Ring smart video doorbell uses an embedded camera to let users see who's at their door via the Ring mobile app. The speaker and microphone system allows the user to greet the guest and communicate. Amazon could integrate Ring into its Key service to allow those who want a clear picture of who's entering their home in real time, or those who want to monitor regular package deliveries. Currently, Amazon uses Amazon-made cloud cam to record a personal delivery entering the home from one of few compatible smart locks by Yale and IC set to let authorized people into the home with a unique unlock code. Amazon's acquisition of Ring comes a few months after the company purchased a Blink, a smart home security camera for reportedly $90 million. Energy efficient technology, regular batteries, power each Blink camera, making the system untethered, a more convenient place around the home for another smart system cameras, or security cameras is what they basically are. It's believed that Amazon bought Bink not only for its hardware but also for its low energy technology. With battery life being a huge concern for smart home devices, Amazon may be looking for a way to integrate Blink energy efficient technology into its existing devices, including Echo products. So I think my thoughts on this are basically just the concerns of security. You know, the fact that this could very easily be hacked if it's being over the internet, you know, or wireless signal. There's nothing to stop a robot just hacking the system and getting into your home, and there you go. It wouldn't matter how many alarms you had. You know, they're gonna be able to get into your home and you know, do what they want to do. And that's always been my concern with this, and everyone's concern. It seems like they could somehow prove there was a system where the system was unable to be hacked in a certain way. You know, probably be less reluctant to use it, but to be honest, I don't know what's wrong with just having a porch that's sort of lockable. You could leave it with a neighbor or something. I don't know what would be wrong with that, to be honest. I mean, it's the whole thing of, well, being a flat compared to a house and not wanting to leave a valuable item of a certain value on the porch, because otherwise, you know, it's gonna, not be, they get stolen, what are they gonna do then? You know? But I think the thing with this is, you gotta consider safety aspect of this, and, you know, the risk versus reward. The reward of this is potentially they're no longer, we have to go around to our neighbour's house and have at 10 o'clock at night and say, if you had a package delivered for me today, whatever, you know. But is that a big reward? It's worth the risk of this. Currently I don't believe so, unless they can show proof that it is safe to use. Till then I don't think the majority of us will invest in this, but, you know, I could be wrong, you know. So that's basically it for that topic. There's not really anything else I can think to say about that. If you have any thoughts yourselves about that topic, then, you know, read into it and let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stance on it. Now, I think my final, well, two more topics there. Google. This one's quite long. Google starts a push for cross-platform app developed with a Flutter SDK. So as part of a Mobile World Congress release slate, Google's Flutter SDK is hitting Beta 1. Flutter is an open source mobile UI framework that allows developers to make super fast cross-compatible mobile apps. But wait, you're saying Google already has a mobile SDK, it's called Android. That's correct, but as usual, Google isn't attacking a mobile app development with a single solution. It now has two app SDKs, Android and Flutter. Cross-platform SDK Flutter apps work on Android, iOS. It does a neat trick of sidestepping both OS UI frameworks. Flutter apps don't directly compile to native Android or iOS apps. Wow, this is quite a tight lane. Wow. Let me get into this one. Now I feel like I've lost where I am. Flutter apps don't directly compile the native Android or iOS apps. They run on a Flutter rendering engine written in C++ and Flutter framework written in Dart, just like Flutter apps, both of which get bundled up with every app, and then the SDK splits out the package that's ready to go out each platform. You get your app, a new engine to run on the Flutter code, and then enough native code to do things, basically. I think native code to get Flutter running on the Android iOS system. And just noticed I'm low on fuel here. Only 98 kilometers away, so whatever. Probably means I'm not gonna have time to get through the last topic. Basically, this is a video game method of app development. Just as a game would ignore most of the existing app framework and ship with its own engine that serves various goals, Flutter apps don't use the existing app framework but come with packaged with the Flutter app work instead of engine designed around blasting aliens in 3D or whatever. The Flutter ships with engine designed for 2D app perforator. Flutter is designed from the ground up to hit 60 frames a second. While this might not be a rare thing on iOS, you can immediately feel the difference in Android. Cross-platform development does not mean Flutter apps will fill out of place on your Android or iOS device. Flutter apps with a built-in UI widgets for material design, Android and Cupertino iOS, which totally change how the app looks and feels. Flutter will change the scrolling behavior, buttons, sliders, dialog box, loading switches, switches, tab bars, and more. If you want to, the Flutter app really can work in native app on both platforms. Shipping your own widgets also leads system look on Android's fragmented device ecosystem. A lot more here. Flutter has a good sales pitch for developers too. Beyond just the dual platform compatibilities, the Flutter team's built a whole separation compiler just for development, while the finished package apps get ahead of time compiled with a length compile time for development. It's just a JIT just-in-time compiler that is super fast. Uses a Dart language, allows for a hot reload developer cycle where many code changes can be seen instantly live in emulator. Flutter has plugins for more developer tools like Intel, IJ, Android Studio, and Visual Live Code. You can mix Flutter code and match each platform's universal code, and there's a plugin for the Firebase. Despite the beta tag, Google is already using the Flutter in production. Several apps, mostly AdWords, Google's advertising program. If you cannot imagine a strong endorsement of the SDK from Google, then use the power to your multi-billion-dollar ad platform UI. The beta release of Flutter could also be seen as another step on the road to making Google's experimental Fuchsia OS a real operating system someday. Within Google's new OS, it's called Fuchsia. A better name might be Flutter OS, which is a point actually. Fuchsia's UI is entirely written in Flutter. As I've seen with Windows Phone and countless other upset Aussies, the key problem with the new OS is getting off the ground app ecosystem. Let's see. If you can't get everyone developing on a cross platform SDK and your new OS is just another target for SDK, you're giving the new OS a big head start. We'll definitely hear more about it at Google I/O 2018. So this is an interesting topic, really. I mean, a lot of points you could make over this. I think this is good in theory, but it needs to be executed well, which as we know, Google is not the best at doing. But if it's executed well, then, it should work out alright, and we'll have, a better experience in theory overall, no matter what we use. We would hope, but, and hopefully it'll turn out that way. I would really like to see it turn out like that. But, potentially it's not going to do anything good and gonna do more bad than good. But, I mean, we'll have to see what happens. I was going to do my final topic, which was about California now allows driverless cars without humans behind the wheel, but we basically ran out of time. But I will say about the final topic that, you know, it was going to come someday, and California certainly wasn't going to be the first state to allow driverless cars, but without humans behind the wheel. But now they've done so, maybe they are genuinely safe. But you know, they could still go wrong. You know, it doesn't matter how much precaution they take, they could still go wrong. You know, potentially, but you know, we'll see what happens. You know, um, so yeah, that's basically it for that. That's basically what I had to talk about this week. And I had some more I could have talked about, but the video then would have ended up being, I don't know, 50 minutes long. And I don't know about you, but I can't stand to sit down and talk for 50 minutes. I feel like half an hour's maybe my limit. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, Truckin' and Talking. If you did enjoy it, make sure to share it with your friends over whatever social media you want. If you want to, you certainly don't have to, but if you want to, a donation to my link and certainly get a shout out on the video, and certainly helps. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. It certainly helps if you do. But pretty much anything you do, whether it's liking the video, subscribing, or whatever. But yeah, I want to say to all of you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.